Ghana's Volta region has for years been adorned with rich vegetation and breathtaking ecosystem.
Life is not that easy for someone like me, being in Accra almost the whole of my life and then coming to the village, a remote area like this.
After 1983 drought and bushfires, cocoa has not been taken up seriously.
Between 1980 and 1983, a harsh drought and wild bushfires, followed by reckless tree felling here in the ensuing years, brought a once vibrant economic activity on its knees, and poor villagers are paying the hard price now.
The Satayama Initiative is a program being run by the Japanese government, and Sato means mountain area management. Now we had a program for Ghana, and we decided to select the Weto range because this is one of the high biodiversity areas, what we call the global significant biodiversity areas, which has been neglected.
From the onset, the people could not understand the reason why some people would come and ask them questions and start bringing them projects. But they were somehow skeptical about what we are bringing. Some thought we were coming to take their lands, and maybe government is coming to seize their lands and so on.
The area is not under any formal government conservation, so it is the people who use their own indigenous systems to manage the area. But we learned that the area was subjected to fire almost every year. The place would get burnt.
We are suffering from fire burning. So this our mountain here too, the same. When time comes, the dry season, this place all together they will burn up to the end of the mountain down there.
At times what you eat is a problem. Even though we are farmers, but the farming that we are doing in this village is just for food. And at times we are farmers, but we buy foodstuffs before we eat.
They were doing farming along the slopes, very deep. There were illegal chainsaw operation. People were cutting the trees indiscriminately. They had very nice waterfalls, and they were all drying up. The river, the rivulets, all of them were drying up. They had also special animal species. They were all gone. So we decided to bring the project here. Basically, there are four main activities that is to be implemented. One is to ensure that we conserve the ecosystem, which means that the systems within the environment will begin to function effectively. The trees will be conserved, we'll replant the degraded areas, thereby conserving water bodies, water sources, and then the rivers and everything will be able to flow to give water to the people, and then we'll prevent fire so that the animals will come back, into the area.
It's not easy because there's no water, good drinking water and other things, but we manage.
The program has since 2012 pumped some $280,000 into a scheme to ensure societies live in harmony with nature.
The community is mostly farming community. We produce crops like cocoa, formerly coffee, plantain, cassava, beans, maize, and granules. Our main river is Mangwe. We have been feeding, or we depend on it before the government use pipe-borne water to feed us.
The second thing was also to conserve the agricultural practices. We know that they have indigenous system of farming, but we need to induce it with modern way by encouraging them to adopt organic farming. So another reason was to introduce organic agriculture, where they can prepare their own compost and use, so as to minimize the level of degradation, and also to prevent them from weeding further the area. You can be an area, and with the help of your organic fertilizer, you can cultivate over a longer period before you move.
It is the livelihood activities that has really caught up well.
All these is a part of the Satoyama project. The cocoa project is part of the Satoyama project, but this is the actual nursery where we nurse our cocoas and other things. The cocoa, we had about 700 pots of cocoa. When we nursed them, the number was 1,800,000.
We are encouraging a couple of spices. Black pepper is one. We are encouraging monodera, which is a spice that have a very high value. We are encouraging zalokia. So these are the three the spices that we are encouraging. And now in the land use planning, we made it clear that they should concentrate more on they should not cultivate on the top of the crest of the mountain. So that is supposed to be purely conserved. Then just below the hill, they are supposed to plant cocoa, and then also can do the arable farming.
Now the third aspect was also to conserve the culture of the people. This area has very rich culture, and we didn't want it to dissipate. So we wanted to integrate it into modern way of management. So we look at the way they do things, the way the proverbs, everything. So we document all of them, including the very important sacred sites, like caves that they used to hide when there was war in the ancient days. Some caves that used to serve as habitat for some wild animals. We try to see how we can revive all these areas. The last one was to introduce livelihood system to support the people within the landscape, and especially we targeted women so that we can support them with livelihood that will minimize their further degradation of the area. So we look at activities that they know how to do better, like oil processing of non-timber forest products, cultivation of NTFP, that is the non-timber product, honey production, rearing of grass cutters, all the natural resource-based enterprises that can sustain the environment and also improve on the income of the people.
I can see that through this initiative, what some cannot do, they are able to do it. And some of them, they were not doing anything, but through this, some of them are trading, and some of them go to the market and buy foodstuffs and come and sell it. And some of them, they use this money to buy cassava and make agrimawo, and some use it to buy palm kernel. Many people used to do this amijen because when they gave us the money, there came a season that there are many palm kernel in the town, so they use the money to buy palm nuts.
We've been taught if the bees are in, how we secure around the boxes, how we make fire belts around, so that if there is any bushfire, it doesn't cross over into the farm.
Formerly, people didn't know that mango farm is a very profitable job, but now they know through the Satoyama project that when we are able to plant mangoes, in time to come, we'll pay school fees out of it. We'll manage our homes out of it. We'll build houses out of this mango farming. This grass cutter farming will also generate income for our families.
As for this beekeeping, it helps me a lot. I have been using it for paying my school fees and help me to do a lot of work.
In 2 years of the implementation, 850 hectares of the degraded land have been restored and rehabilitated with 18 tree nurseries, which have produced and distributed 1 million tree seedlings.
For you, the women, what would you recommend that the project should do for you in future?
Nanya ba doya project am di ba nya drafo ado ngo a nukai ni suba nyomu aje ba project na wona mi talk majiba mana na konkumo ye
la mia pa project ava ni ka mi di fiaba ye mi ku njeje la project ava na mi anwo a mi ejibo ga gbo wa o do bu ni mi bo do ado fa ikenya abolo do na mi anwo mi ga gbo ga project ava ni na mi ya papa afaji ye di mi ga la chobo be jire ke ni ko chomo
abolo ka blito
ye bolo
okay. She says that another project that they would like the women to be given is bread baking.
Through this Satomaya project, I am very happy with my children, and I know that they can do more to us, so that we can get more from what we are doing.
We, the women in this community, will no longer depend so much on our husbands. We also do something to improve ourselves.
With this Satoyama initiative, this very beekeeping, we have seen that it will help us a lot. That is why when they brought the boxes and taught us how to do it, in fact, we put all our maximum support into it.
The Satoyama project is really helping us. We just started, but I believe it is what would bring our cocoa back. We are learning a lot of new improved ways of growing cocoa, and I believe we can improve our lives and poverty would come down.
It will help us in a lot of things like this beekeeping, grass cutter railing and all that. We have learned a lot and it will help us.
Looking into the future, we are now thinking of the entire landscape, which is running from Sanga area or up to Mount Afejeto. And that is a bigger area. Now we are looking at putting them into segments, about 3 or 4 segments, and then organizing the groups or the people there to be able to manage it. And then trying to scale up the ecotourism potential of the area, having sliding, at some important points so that it could be an annual or a regular feature for them.
People will come here and see a lot of forageous animals, which the species where people run away, they will still come here. And people from where they come and learn to see how this Satoyama brought this green biodiversity project over here.
We hope that at the end, if we have another 2 or 3 years program still from Satoyama, the environment, the landscape will totally change. Poverty can also be reduced because within 3 years, cocoa can start producing.
If the project is sustained, then in the future we will see a thriving community living in harmony with nature.
I have the hope that if we are able to develop this very well, one, it could serve as a commodity to be traded on the carbon market. because it's a big landscape, almost close to about 100,000 hectares. And if we're able to put it under a sustainable management system, we can trade that on the carbon market, and that means a bigger money for the region to develop.